Finally. Now we're recording too. Now we're live. We're really live now. Oh my god. Two
Fucking
weeks.
pro, baby.
What's it been? Like 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Oh, it's
It's been
probably
so
something
long.
like that. Yeah, it feels like longer sometimes.
It's been so long it feels forever. How the hell are you, Misek? How are we doing?
You know, at the risk of sounding like I've said this before, I feel like shit.
In other words, you're normal. I love it. Love it. Oh, we
Yeah.
we we talked a little bit before we decided to do this, and yeah, we took a little break. We got real life shit going, kind of kicked our asses. Um,
Yeah, that real life shit it doesn't ever want to leave your ass alone.
now it just, we hit a good little stretch there, but now it's just hopefully we'll get back into the swing of things here and be rocking and rolling at least with our news and as talked to you earlier, maybe some actually have some guests coming on here in a little while. We got to get all those details worked out, but that's something that could be happening in the future.
Yeah.
Sounds like tons of fun. Uh, but yeah, just we'll jump right into it. We missed the big thing. Big
Yeah,
thing.
we missed a few things here and
Well,
there.
maybe it's a little thing. Just this little thing of 10.1.5 come out.
Yeah,
Um,
it's finally here.
haven't had a
I
whole
had
lot of
some
time to play it.
I had some high hopes for it.
High hopes. That sounds like those hopes were not met.
No.
No,
No, not really.
no. Uh, yeah. No. We graded last week, first time in a couple of weeks. 4th of July. Uh, killed that raid that week.
Yeah,
So
that didn't feel too
and
bad. It was
it
good
took.
getting back into the
Okay.
raid.
Yeah, the raid felt good. We us playing hunters like it felt good. Like I looked at the logs afterwards. Apparently, I did something right there. Uh,
Oh yeah, you definitely did. And I'll
I
tell
was
you
like,
what,
what did I do? I don't know what I did,
I
but that echo parse was. I don't know what happened there.
well some of what's happening, and this doesn't just go for you, it goes for a lot of us. Is like you'll notice some real hardcore disparities based on the augmentation of ochre shit. Because
Yeah,
that shit goes out at random, and when it hits people, you can tell the difference. And with Marksman Hunter, we're already kind of heavier into RNG. It's like, oh look, this Marksman Hunter got 5 procs in a row of True Shot aura, and
yeah,
this one didn't. I wonder what the difference was. But then adding like 2,000 extra agility and a bunch of other crap going on at the exact same fucking time, like talk about going fucking burr. When all of a sudden you see people's DPS increase by a third or by half or even double. Like you can start telling what's going on. I'll tell you
yeah.
that.
Um,
Hmm.
Seeing they're changing. Speaking of augmentation, they're changing augmentation up a little bit. It looks like again.
Yeah, yeah, they're about to nerf it, which really isn't a big surprise. It's a little
No,
irritating to me. It
it's
is a little
mostly
irritating to me because you know I I wish they could balance this shit beforehand. Not only do I wish they could balance this shit beforehand, but it's like if this was not your intent to let this go through, to let there be a a powerful subclass that buffs everyone else, then don't fucking make that a thing. Like everyone knew this was a thing. You made it a thing. I don't know.
That's just it. That was my thing. Was like, okay, this is augmentation evoker is doing exactly what you designed augmentation evoker to do.
Yeah,
It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But now it's doing it too well. But
you
that's the
know,
whole point. Like, okay, everybody who's going to get okay, Hall of Fame's already done. All right.
yeah,
If you're going to get AOTC, you probably already got it, or you're really close to getting it right
probably
now.
yeah.
I would, just if I had to say, because we got it already, and it's been what, a month since we got it the first time. So
Uh, yeah, month and a half, something like that.
yeah,
Like
something like that.
it's been a bit.
So essentially, what augmentation evoker is doing is just adding some fun to it.
Yeah,
Am I wrong with that?
no,
Like
you're not wrong.
it just seems like a fun little spec that they're having fun doing it, and everybody that's around them is having fun because of it. Why? But yeah, we can't have fun. We can't have
Well,
nice things, John. We
like
can't
I
have nice things.
it, and the thing is, like it really benefits a couple classes kind of towards the ridiculous end of things. In particular, like Unholy DK.
Yeah, yeah.
There are a
Mm-hmm.
couple others too, but like it does. Like there are some classes that it benefits on a ridiculous level.
Yeah, our DK's back, so I can't wait. I was
Oh,
really hoping to see what it would do with him after he got geared and stuff. Like so
oh yeah, he's under geared, and he was still pulling fucking numbers. Like that
yeah,
initial burst is ridiculous. But like, I if your problem is that the initial burst on Unholy DK is already ridiculous, and this makes it more ridiculous, and then you nerf the augmentation evoker to compensate for the fact that Unholy DK's niche is ridiculous start front end burst, I might suggest that we've gone around the bend a little bit. You know, like
yeah. Like
because at the end of the day, that's a problem with Unholy DK's burst. Like if that's not the way that you want that to play out, then that's what needs to be changed.
right, like it's no, like it's. I don't know. It seems like when something is just to that point, the word fun. It's not. I don't think it's really broke. I think it's just to a point to where it feels really good.
Oh yeah, and it does. It feels a little less good when you're not the one that got the random oof. But at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know
that's where
what's
I'm
really
at.
weird to me about this? For years now, Blizzard has been moving away from giving us buffs,
Yeah.
like further and further down the line, to the point that they've even debated like taking power infusion out of the game and that kind of thing. They're like, the, the idea is that they didn't want any character or any class or spec to be to be necessary for rating or Mythic Plus or something because their buffs were so overpowered that they brought that they were that significant.
Hmm.
Which is why we've gone from like buffs out the ass that everybody had to have, that you had to hit the thing and it gave you the buff, or you had to spec into it and it gave everybody the buff. Like that was a thing. You know, it was a thing back in
Yeah,
vanilla,
it's a
and
real
then
thing. It's been a thing
BC,
for a long
Wrath,
time.
Cata.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, always a thing, right? So, and you know what? I wasn't upset by that per se. It long term, I do feel like if they had carried something like that forward, it would have to be more of an aura system because that's kind of bullshit. Like you always got to use a reagent, you got to click the thing, and every time it falls off, you got to remember to. No, that's arbitrary garbage. I get that that needs to go the way of the dodo. It needs to go the way of the dodo now.
Yeah.
But
Way of the
they have
dodo.
argued over and over and over and over again that they don't want people brought specifically because of the buffs they bring to the point where it's necessary to bring a certain character for that reason. And
Yeah.
then they built a spec specifically for that fucking
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Exactly. Yes.
And like
And
I'm not upset by augmentation of ogre. I'm not. I
no.
actually I think it's a cool concept. I would like to see that kind of thing occasionally. I think it's kind of cool. But like the, the audacity there. I mean, it's like it's like they piss on you and tell you that it's raining
Yep.
all the fucking time.
Yep. It's exactly what it is. It's like, we've known all about it for a while, as hunter mains.
Yeah,
It's like we're we don't bring anything but our damage. It's like that's it. Our damage is our main thing. Yeah, we can cheese a couple mechanics with turtle every now and then. Other than that, you know, and you kind of see how hunters been kind of pushed to the side because they don't bring anything, and
yeah. I mean,
it
like they bring lust, but to really bring lust, you've got to.
everybody brings lust. The Voker
Yeah.
brings lust. Shamans bring lust. Mages
Well, not
bring
only that,
lust.
but
And
like when everything hunter does, someone else does better, or
yeah,
has a better version of it, or a version that's easier to use, or a version that doesn't cost you a defensive.
yeah.
It's like down the line. Like, I get that.
Except turtle.
Um,
Turtle's the only thing that we have that other classes don't have. Like it's the best.
eh,
It's the best mobile immunity. Like we
blessing
can
of
get out.
protection
Well, I mean,
bubble.
it's yeah, but that's physical damage. Turtle blocks everything.
I'm pretty sure it blocks everything, doesn't it?
No, it's physical damage. What bot
Okay.
does? Yeah. So
Used to be everything. Weird. I didn't realize they made that switch.
yeah, physical damage. My understanding physical damage anyway. But anyway, but yeah, getting off on the wrong side. But yeah. So yeah, and now I like I like Augmented Voter. I ain't played it, but I'm enjoying it being around. Like I think it's a really cool concept. It's working well. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And
But
like I said, it feels great when it hits.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, baby, it feels
yeah.
good.
I must have just been standing in the right spot during that echo fight. Cause goddamn, like I was
Oh, you
carrying
were.
everything I knew, and of course it helped that you were dead.
I mean,
But
yeah, that
yeah, that helped.
that
That
doesn't
meant more
hurt, but
damage for me.
that doesn't hurt, but like you are consistently like closer into the boss, and the evokers have that sort of mid range thing going in. So some of that's actually on me. It is. Um, but you can. But I was always able to tell when you got it, because like if I got it on pull, I would be top of the damage, and if you got it on pull, I'd be like half your damage.
But it's fun. That's the fun part of it to me. It's
Yeah,
like
and
it
it feels good,
it
right?
feels really good when you get it, and it's just and I'm a team player. It feels good to see other people go up there too. Like I'm not yeah, I want to be on top, but I mean, if I see somebody else on top and it's not because I'm playing bad, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
You know, I
absolutely.
know when I fuck up, so I know if I'm not fucking up and I see other people kicking my ass on the meter, I'm good with that. Like fuck. Uh, But yeah, so they're already changing that shit up. Looks like they're focusing more on making evokers do a little bit more DPS and buff a little bit less. So that's
Yep.
what I'm reading with these abilities. Is that that's what it looks like. Um, Hunters are getting buffed again. Not
Yep.
Beastmaster are getting a lot. Everybody else kind of Well, just this ability, that ability. We're just getting more. Mark's just getting more trick shot damage,
Yep. We're getting more
and
trick shot damage, and I'm not
really
upset by that.
minor, really minor. But yeah, no.
I
Uh,
I mean, I'm not upset by that, because like Marx is, it's traditionally been that sort of, its niche has always been that mid cleave, like for mid cleave fights. where it was more than low cleave, but it was less than like just straight AoE. We were always the best, and now we're kind of not. So I'm okay with a little bit of a buff there.
My
Uh,
my only thing here is reading these changes is like how many fucking times are they going to buff blood decay? Like like it's they're getting another 10% all around buff, and they're still so
yeah, I haven't felt
poor
like
blood
blood
decay.
decays. I haven't felt like blood decay's been doing poorly either. But at the same time, like we don't have a consistent blood decay in our group, so
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, once in a blue moon, we had uh, we we had Frozen or Fett. He has a DK and he used to play his DK a little more.
Yeah, he went with his druid as his third that he's going to get, you know, all the everything on a plus 20.
I'm not surprised because right now Druid's doing really really well.
Yeah, and they're actually getting a slot buff for Guardian Druid again too.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, all right, that's kind of the fun conversation. That's the fun conversation.
Yeah, there
Uh,
definitely have been some things that have been pretty decent about this
yeah,
patch.
yeah. You mentioned you've got a little bit that you want to get off your chest today.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
I haven't really been happy with this patch. Like as much as I like the augmentation of Ogre and what it brings, even though they're already in the process of deciding to nerf that into the ground. Like no doubt in my mind, it's going to happen. They're going to nerf it into like in playability, but I haven't really been happy this patch. Um, most of the changes haven't really been exciting to me. The most exciting changes that were coming for me at least were going to be the uh, the new mega dungeon, which anytime I, I gotta imagine that they've been working on this since before like 10.1 started, or
probably.
right when 10.1 started. So they've put in a lot of development
They
time on
probably
this,
had a
right?
team on it starting at the beginning of the expansion. I'd say. Like
Oh yeah,
they
probably.
have all of this planned out and everything. They know what they're doing, so they've got people working on stuff. Now they may not have had a full, you know, all in team on it, but they probably had a small team that was already designing assets and stuff like that. I would say getting it ready.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
I
so
haven't been happy with that, and I haven't been happy with the one class that I mean, don't get me wrong, they did do some changes on some other classes, some little sort of like mid revamps, kind of like Guardian Druid. It got a little revamp just like it did before. It keeps on getting little revamps that are kind of meaningful. But the one that everybody um was kind of waiting for here was Mage. Like the intent was that they were going to basically revamp Mage again from the ground up because Mage was doing okay, but it wasn't really as fun to play. And the thing that the thing about Mage in particular that got me was I really enjoyed Frost Mage. Uh, but the one thing I didn't like about it was the Runa Power bullshit.
mhm.
Um, how much Mage did you play?
Oh, I
I remember you joined us as a Mage, I think, right?
I the whole the whole I was going to join the guild as a mage last year, and we got. I think I did it twice as a mage, and was
Yeah,
I did okay if I remember correctly.
yeah. I don't think you were doing badly. I think I think when you came in, we were already getting into heroic, and you were still trying to gear your mage or something like that. So like by the second run, you were like, you know what, I can get my hunter.
Yeah, my hunter's geared. Like I can bring my
Yeah,
hunter, and they were like, okay, you know, if that's what you want to do, and we'll see. And then yeah, of course, the rest has been history. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with Rune of Power and how it works and all of
yeah. I mean,
that. It was
it was a thing that nobody really liked. Like people would kind of justify it as like, oh well, it's been a thing for a while, and
my
it's
only
larger than it actually looks.
my only complaint with it was that other classes couldn't use it. That other
That
players couldn't use the mage's Rune of Power while it
You
was
know what?
down.
That would have been really interesting. Like have mage baseline with other classes, but then like when they drop Rune of Power, every class in the raid could use it. That would have
Yeah,
been kind of that would have been kind of interesting.
that would have been a cool little, talk about buffing, other
But that
classes
would have
and
been
stuff
a
like that.
necessary raid buff, and we can't have that.
Jesus. But that was my only complaint with Ring of Power was that I wish that, like, hey, if I stood on the Ring of Power, do I get the buff too? That was, that was my thing. But no,
So my
yeah,
so most mages, I don't know of a single mage that actually liked Rune of Power. I know
no,
plenty of them that were like, it is what it is, and it's not as bad as you say it is, and this kind of that kind of bullshit where people try and justify something that's bad. That it happens all the time. So,
yeah,
um, R- Rune of Power, for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that, it dropped this fucking this rune on the ground. It increased your damage by like 40%.
yeah, it was massive. Yeah.
And it wasn't an enormous it was like a minute long cooldown or something like that, minute and a half, something like that. But then it also dropped when you would do whatever your big cooldown is. So for Frost Mage it would have been Icy Veins. For Fire Mage it would have been Combustion, and I forget what the fuck no one cares about Arcane. Fuck those guys. So
Yeah.
um they had this thing, and and because of how it worked, where it went into that second ability too, and because of the amount of damage it was, and the way you were able to keep your cooldowns going and things like that, it was impossible to take anything else. Nothing else was remotely close.
Yeah.
So and it was really easy to get cucked the fuck out of it. Like, oh, I hit the button, and now this random mechanic that I couldn't have planned
Mhm.
for means that I don't get my cooldown. And that
Right.
was going to be 40% of my damage, and I'm fucked.
And
So,
it felt
like,
bad.
it felt
Yeah.
bad.
It felt
It,
really
it was
bad.
a really short area. Um, it was bigger than the actual area of the rune on the ground, which is another whole fucking bowl of bowl of porridge there. That's some fucking shit. They do that crap all the time. Oh, look at this! It's actually bigger than the thing it's supposed to be. That always drives me nuts. But so they had this ability. You had to take it. There was no real alternative if you wanted to be remotely competitive. So you had to use it. It was easy to get cut. It was just not fun. So they're removing that and making this gameplay less complicated. I'm like, sweet, that's fun. And then I log in and finally realize what they've done to my Frost Mage is they've added like 4 or 5 other abilities that I'm going to have to rotate through to my already whatever count rotation, um, including like 2 or 3 cooldowns, a bunch of different interactions between abilities, and still trying to use all these different buffs and debuffs correctly with all these other abilities that now you've got to weave in, including one that's basically like a fucking combo point ability. So it's like now we're playing fucking mage rogue here. It's like, and then they took the play style that you had and literally wrote it out of the game. Does not exist.
Yep.
That pisses me off. It does. And I'm sure that there are people that are enjoying the playstyle right now that are going, you know what, dude, just fucking get over it. Mage isn't for you. But it really irritates me that Blizzard continuously makes everything consistently more and more complicated. It feels like they're trying to push me out of the game sometimes. And it bothers me a lot that they would do that. Um, I feel like Blizzard is trying to make this game more fun for a specific player base, and that's fine, but that player base is like 1% of players
Hmm.
or less. And that kind of leaves everyone else out in the shit house. So I was getting excited to play my mage. Now that's gone away. Fire, if anything, is more complicated as well, and it was always more complicated.
Yeah.
Arcane's an extreme. Fire on paper, I love the concept, but it really is just far more complicated than it needs to be. Arcane, um, it's got this ridiculously complicated interaction. It, it's kind of the same thing with every fucking class, isn't it? Though, like at this point, every class, like you read through the things that are going on, with the exception of like a couple things in like Hunter and maybe a couple other places, um, where you look into it, and it's like, okay, well, look, you've got this complicated, 47-second opener, comprising 38 different abilities in precise order, which can change on the ball of a on the balls of your feet because you got this proc or that proc, or you managed to get this one for free or that one not for free, or if you have this particular, fucking trinket, then you want to go this route instead. I mean, it's too much. It
Yeah.
is. It's too much.
Yeah, mages was always kind of complicated
Mm,
for me. Like Frost was simple. Like I think Frost
mm.
was has always been the simplest spec, at least that I played
Yeah.
with. And then Fire was kind of quite a bit more complicated, and then Arcane just seemed like it was really complicated.
Oh yeah.
And so I never could get the hang of Fire. I was starting to get the hang of Arcane there for a little bit, and then I just quit playing it. Like I was like, I'm done. Fire didn't interest me. Arcane and Frost were what I was interested in. That was especially when Arcane was blowing up the meters, like initially at the start of the patch and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'd be interested in Arcane. And then I just, I do what I normally do, fell back with the hunter and just stuck with it. Uh, that's kind of
Eh,
what I do. It's like I'll play with others. Then I always go back to the fucking hunter just because that's what I'm comfortable with. Like I don't
I mean,
hire
I
any.
do the
Yeah.
same. Like I joined the guild as a healer, and
Hmm.
I'd been a healer um, most of my WoW career, but
Yep.
I enjoyed other classes, so it was fun getting out of that role and doing other things, and then
Now you're
not that
pretty
they
much
really.
out of the role. Yeah. Like you don't.
Yeah, I mean, me being out of it kind of let other people move in, and it honestly becomes an issue when you're good at multiple roles like that sometimes, because it's like, okay, well, either you're going to get ridiculously good DPS or ridiculously good healing, and if you're doing one, you're not doing the other, which means that you're going to be lacking there,
Yep.
that kind of thing. And that's not to say that our healers or our DPS aren't good or anything like that. It's just like it becomes noticeable when you have a player that's really good at one or the other
Yep.
swap.
Yep.
It does become noticeable.
We knows
So
it. Like I
it
definitely
has
miss our
been
warrior.
fun getting out of
I
that.
miss our warrior. We not having a warrior is kind of
Yeah,
been a
we
damper.
brought another warrior.
Yeah, I saw that. That didn't. Yeah, we won't.
Yeah,
I won't go there.
he was there. He
He
was
was
there,
there.
and we got shout. So that was a thing. We got shout, and it's nice having shout. I'm trying to be polite here.
But yeah, but so, speaking of there and not there, you were your favorite other Blizzard game, Overwatch.
Oof.
Not there.
You know, I'm not.
But hey, on
I
the positive, it's going to be on Steam in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and you know what? That's kind of really interesting in itself because it's going to be on Steam completely, so you're going to be able to bypass the Blizzard launcher. Which honestly, these proprietary launchers needed to go the way of the shit house a long time ago.
Well, I
But
mean,
so I'm happy about that.
I don't think you should have to have Steam to run the games either. Like that's my only complaint with Steam. It's like I've got a 200 plus game library on Steam. Like it's just
Oh, same
yeah,
here.
like
So,
at least you can run it offline if you want to, but still if you don't have Steam installed, you can't run the game. Like it's just
oh yeah, yeah, and
so.
you know what? I'm there with you. But at the same time, like at the very least, when it was Steam, then I don't have to worry about anything else. It's just Steam, and
Yeah.
Steam really isn't horrible to
Well, I mean,
any given
you
effect.
you say Steam, everybody knows what you're talking about. Like, oh, okay, that's where you get your games from. Like, yeah, even
Yeah,
people who don't play PC games, a lot of them's heard of Steam. Like, they have an idea of what Steam is.
yeah,
Okay, like, oh, you play PC games. Like, yep. Like,
yep, sure do.
people know that. So when you get rid of this, like fuck, like I love Assassin's Creed, hate the Ubisoft launcher,
Oh,
pain in the
same.
ass. There's a couple others too, like it's just the Epic Games launcher. It's also annoying as fuck. If you've ever dealt with that one, any
Oh yeah.
that's probably the most annoying one that I've ever downloaded with the Epic Games one. I still got it because I mean they give away free games every month, but still, it's you know,
Well,
fuck.
well,
Like,
that's the thing that pisses me off about this, right? Is when it was just Steam. At the very least, it's like, all right, I open Steam and I can play all my games. But then every other fucking company realized, you know what? Valve is making all this money, and the thing is,
yes,
Valve is providing some excellent service for doing that, and all
yes.
sorts of features. Like down the line, it was pretty good. Is it always good? No. Once in a blue moon, there's something it bothers me or something. But overall, I haven't really had too many complaints about Steam itself, right? And maybe there's some policies that that don't
Well,
drive with some some company somewhere.
well,
But
they're getting a nice little cut
oh
of
yeah, they are.
sales.
They're getting
That's the
they're getting
deal with
they're getting
other
between
publishers.
15 and 30% depending on who you are or something like that.
Yeah,
I get that. But from the same standpoint, I would much rather have just Steam because now
yes.
there's like 2 dozen different proprietary launchers, and everybody wants you to go to their launcher for their game because they get a bigger cut, but their launcher sucks. And then I've
Well,
got like 12 different launchers installed, and anytime I want to play any particular game, I got to figure it up. And then like anytime you reboot Windows, it's like, oh look, here's 12 different fucking things all wanting your goddamn attention, and because they're also storefronts, they want to have advertising that they want to send you, notices. Oh, this person wanted to friend you, and this that, and some of them have been bastardly enough. You actually just mentioned Ubisoft. Uh, do you know what happened this week with Ubisoft, or maybe it was
no, I
last
haven't.
week?
Nope, I'm out of the loop.
So Ubisoft has begun closing out people's accounts that haven't been active in 4 years. So
Jesus.
people that bought games
Oh my
and own
god.
games are having their accounts closed out because they have not been active in 4 years and
See,
losing their purchases.
and that's one of the fears that a lot of people have with places like Steam and stuff like that. Like, what if Steam was to just magically go out of business one day?
Oh yeah. Well,
You know, it's a legit concern that a lot of people have. Like, is
and it's happened to consoles time and time again.
yeah, like
There are all sorts of console stores that or digital content that just flat out doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, and
Does not
that's
exist.
like well, now I think PlayStation's still done it where you can access anything you bought for the PS3. You just can't buy new things for the PS3 anymore from the
I
stores, my
I
understanding.
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Um, and I'm pretty sure what Microsoft has done now. I don't have a 360 anymore. It's been forever, but I'm pretty sure what Microsoft has done is like, okay, you can play all of your digital shit from your
Hmm.
360 from your Xbox One that you can play on your 360, but you have to get an Xbox One now in order to access it or something like that. If I remember correctly.
That's really
Now
that's really
I
shitty.
could be wrong on that because I don't have a 360 anymore, and I never did much on my 360 to begin with. I was more of a PlayStation guy. Like I had my PS3,
Yeah, same.
so. Uh, but yeah, I think that was a thing. It could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But it's a legit fear. So I see. I didn't know anything about that. Like I'm not a big Ubisoft fan anyway. Like literally, the only game that they have that I like to play is the Assassin's Creed series, which I'm really looking forward to the new one coming out this year. But
Oh, same. Yeah.
but yeah, and so now you've got Overwatch on Steam. Overwatch is your favorite game.
Oh no,
Um,
I've never liked Overwatch, but I don't like what they're doing with it either. You know,
you,
they
you know,
had.
the single player in Overwatch 2 is amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean it really does bother me that they cut the single player.
Yeah, I was looking
Um,
forward to playing the single player campaign myself. I really was. When they announced that, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, I will enjoy this
yeah,
because I don't like the
I
online stuff. Like, I was
I
looking
I
forward to the
always felt like I
storyline.
was weird because I enjoy shooter single players.
Hmm.
I do. Um, so it definitely bothers me that they like put all this time and effort into it, and then they're just like, that sounds like work. We're not going to do that. That that's really irritating. And then um, even on the online side of things, right? Uh, it used to be. When I say used to be, I guess technically it still is. That Overwatch is primarily a multiplayer game, and it it was a multiplayer game in a way that Blizz was trying to set it up kind of as an esports title, right? They wanted they wanted it to be a big thing for esports, and they wanted it to be a big thing for esports so much that they took it and started basically an esports league with it. And I think there was like people were buying into it like 20-30 million dollars, thinking, all right, this is cool. Like we've got some esports teams. We'll do this and be in Overwatch esports. And
Oh, it's a massive investment in Overwatch esports. Like,
oh
it's
yeah, huge,
huge.
huge.
Like a
And,
fucking
and then
show it. If you flip through TV, like you'll see it on what I think it's Disney XD. You'll see the you can see the stream or whatever. Like it's one of those Disney channels where they show Overwatch. I know that. Like I've never actually watched it. I just go
oh
through the
yeah,
guide and I see like Overwatch tournament or something like I forget what it says, but Overwatch League's what it's called. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a legit
And
thing on TV. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I thought this was a Twitch thing. Oh, you
oh
learn stuff. So
yeah, they absolutely they sorry. they they pushed it hard, you know, to the point when people start investing millions, like it should be going places. But then the game itself was sort of mediocre and always has been. It's always been kind of that middling, like outside of launch, it's always kind of at that place where it's like, okay, it exists, but every other title kind of does it better. So the
Yeah.
esports potential of it has always been kind of low. Like it doesn't
But that
draw
was
in
the whole
viewers
purpose
like
of the
everything
game
else.
was for esports. Like, I
Well,
think that
yeah,
they literally made that game for esports. Like that was the whole point. Like the whole Overwatch and Overwatch 2 are literally made for esports. Like that's exactly what they made those games for. They made it to compete with your Apex and your Fortnite and
yeah,
Valorant come out afterwards. But in your Warzone, like it was all there to kind of compete. All right, and this was of course kind of Activision was in there. And I think that they see it's completely different than Warzone, so they're not too worried about having two IPs in the same company that's fighting for the same space. I guess
yeah,
I don't know, but it's just and then you hear about I'm a big sports fan, so I hear about all these sports teams owners buying esports teams or
yeah.
starting esports teams. Like I think Mark Cuban started up the team in Dallas. I think he owns that one.
Yeah.
Um, I think Robert Kraft for the New England Patriots. I think he bought one and started one or something like that. They're heavily invested in it. I know that.
Oh
Like they
yeah.
invested millions into it. Of course, they have
Millions
it.
upon
They have,
millions.
million for them is pennies for us. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah, they
money's the
absolutely invested
yeah
all that.
they threw the
And
money into it. Yeah.
so they throw all this money into it, and now Blizzard's already shutting it down,
Yep.
and they're paying them out like $6 million to cancel out their licensing or contract or whatever the fuck it is.
$6 million for a company that just reported over $1 billion in net revenue last quarter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And but like the sinister thing about it is they build this game, right? They they then invest a bunch of time and effort and money into hyping it for esports, and that doesn't really work. So then they say, "Oh, well, we're also going to do a single player mode." That gives them a nice bump. And people have invested millions into this so that they can have their esports teams for it. Then they cut the single player, and the game that was already kind of on life support as far as interest goes almost dead.
Yeah.
And then they
People.
say, "Oh, well, uh, we can't really do any better than this." And they they start to drop it further and further, and then they kick back and they go, "Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cancel the esports league entirely, and we're going to pay out these people that paid ridiculous money getting in. We're going to pay them each $6 million total." So,
Yeah.
so they're not going to come anywhere near close to their investment into actually getting into this as an esports league.
And not to mention you've got all the teams. So you've got all the players that are out of a job. You've got the the coaches that are probably out of a job too. Other
Oh
support
yeah,
people who are going to be losing their jobs because of that and stuff. So yeah, it's there's a definite domino effect to it as well. Like you're going to
yeah,
have so yeah, it's that's it's shitty. it's
it is.
but it's they're going. Blizzard's going to tell you is like okay, like it's in the agreement. Like we they always tell you same thing. Like we have the right to cancel or stop doing this at any time we want to. Stuff like that. They, it's in that print, so legally they're covered. Like you can't sue them
Well,
for anything because
yeah,
it's, but
maybe legally they're covered, but that
yeah,
doesn't mean that it's not a shitty thing for them to do. You
uh,
know.
yeah, but that's what
And
they're going to tell you. Blizzard's going to tell you, hey, we have the right to stop doing this at any time.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that uh, that pe- if they keep on being allowed to get away with it, it's going to keep happening, and people do keep on letting them get away with it. People keep on, trying to explain it away or just going, "Oh man, that fucking sucks." Well, I guess I'm going to go continue paying Blizzard and playing their fucking games. Like on some level, it's never going to stop until until people go, no, I'm good. I will go fucking play something else because in theory, Blizzard has all the metrics and everything, so they should be able to basically do the right thing. That's what a buddy of mine actually was telling me beforehand. They were saying, look, you always talk about the money side of it, but they also have all the metrics and stuff. So in theory, they should be able to just look at that and go, okay, well, clearly this isn't working. We should just do what the players are asking for, or we should do the right thing, whatever it is at the time, and that should make things better. But they don't, right? Blizzard has this habit of waiting till the last fucking second when their company is approaching life support after they've lost just ridiculous losses. And in my experience, the only way a company knows for sure that they are circling the drain, the only time that they will not double down is when you hurt their pocketbook enough,
yes,
right?
it's all about
So
the money, honey. All
so
about the
so
money.
when when people making millions all of a sudden have a chance to either continue making millions briefly before the company folds or not make millions at all because like they've also got all this other shit to pay for when they actually have to answer for the fact that they went from making millions to not making millions. That's when things change. And I've always felt like the more the more we kind of give these companies uh the more they can hang themselves. You know, at some point you just got to say, all right, you're not getting my money. Like I'll play your game or whatever it is, but you're not going to get my money, and I'm just going to stop interacting with you. And that's actually kind of what I've been doing with WoW. And I don't know that everybody's doing that. Like they've said that retention has been better for Dragonflight than anything
Hmm.
else, and they're probably right about that. But I feel like more and more people, even with Dragonflight, have been leaving.
Yeah, I don't think the game's grown much from Dragonflight,
No,
but I don't think it's fallen off like it has. Like it definitely hasn't fallen off like Shadowlands did.
no,
Um,
not like Shadowlands has, but
mhm.
I feel like it is in a continued decline. Like because Blizzard keeps on hyping up these things, and they're things to be excited about.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the things that they get you excited for are exciting things, and then you see the implementation, right?
Well, 1.1.5 was exciting, and it seems like it's definitely underwhelming.
Yeah,
It seems like this patch is definitely underwhelmed to the hype that it was given. Like, all mages are going to be great. All augmentation evokers going to be great. It's going to change the way that you play the game, and it has, but it's not like game changing. It's not as impactful as we thought it would be. Does that make sense? Like we like augmentation of vocals. It's a fun concept. They're nerfing it to the ground now. Well, I mean not to the
Yeah.
ground, but they're nerfing it pretty good. And Mage is underwhelming. I haven't done the new Mega Dungeon. You said you have. You said it's pretty buggy. That's what you kind of said. Like it's definitely not finished.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It feels not finished. Um, so you can't, and that's one of the big things. I'm kind of opposite of you on this. Is like if I'm one of those. I don't care how shitty the company is. If they make something I enjoy, I'm gonna pay for it because I enjoy it. Like that's a selfish thing. It's a personal thing. That's me. I'm if it's something I enjoy and this company provides it, because I'm one of those. It's like
No, I'm with you there.
if you didn't buy anything, if you refuse to buy stuff because the company that makes it or whatever is shitty, there's a lot of stuff in your house that you would not own right now.
Oh no, yeah, I'm actually with you there. Um,
So I'm just kind of it kind of a similar thing like when the whole sexual harassment scandal happened. What was it, last year or 2 years ago when all that came out? I think it's last year when all that shit came out. Uh, so, but I was the same way. I was the same way. It was like all these companies are shitty. We're just finding out about the Blizzard one. It
oh
happens
yeah, yeah,
all the
absolutely.
time, and that's my thing. And I go back to the same thing. Like if you're not going to buy stuff because the company's shitty, there's a lot of stuff right now that you would not own if you dug into how shitty some of these companies are that make shit that you have in your house right now.
No, yeah, I'm with you there. I am with you 100%.
So I enjoy
Um,
WoW. I haven't played Diablo yet, but I'm getting that itch. Like I'm seeing people play it. I want to try it. I don't want to pay $70 for it. So if I can get it on a discount at some point, sometime, I will probably buy it. Um, but that's the only Activision Blizzard thing I play right now as well. And I haven't been playing it much because we've kind of took a break. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm kind of opposite of what you're saying. It's kind of like the company gets to a point where you're going to stop giving them your money. Like if it's something I enjoy, they're getting my money.
well, no, I mean, I feel like that's where you're misunderstanding me though. It, I'm with you there. It's getting to the point where I don't enjoy it. Like
But yeah,
that's the point that the changes are getting to, right? And
okay, yeah, I get that.
when my enjoyment goes down significantly, then it doesn't make sense for me to pay. A lot of people will keep paying anyway. They'll just
True.
go, "Well, yeah, but I've always been here and I don't know what else I would do, and I'm sure they're going to make it better. Look, they said they're going to make it better. Yeah, but they haven't been, right?"
That's what they said. Like they
Yeah.
Shadowlands started off real. I mean not Dragonflight started off really well. Now it seems like that they're kind of resting on the success of how patch 10.0 and 10.1 have went, because 10.15 is underwhelming. It's 10.0.5 was underwhelming. These half patches are definitely. I think they're a little underwhelming right now, and when they're going to push 10.2, probably BlizzCon time, I would think, around that.
Could
When do you
be.
think?
I don't know. I know that I've heard people guessing anywhere from like uh the end of September to November, and I
Yeah.
honestly couldn't tell you.
Well,
I think the end of September is more along the lines of like 10.1.7 or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think it seems like something that they would like to hold off for BlizzCon.
Yeah,
Like it's like, oh, okay, hey, guess what? 10.2 comes out Tuesday after BlizzCon. Go to it, have fun, and we're going to break it down while we're at BlizzCon and stuff like that. I'm going to be at BlizzCon, so that's going to be fun excitement. I may live stream from BlizzCon. Uh,
that'd
but
be fun.
but but still, it's yeah. I get what you're saying. Like it's hit a point with you to where you're not wanting to pay your sub. Like
Yeah,
you're not enjoying it enough to justify giving them your money.
yeah. I mean, I'm still enjoying getting on, hanging out with my friends.
Hmm.
I'm still
But you can do that
enjoying.
for free in
Uh,
Discord. Like it's not.
yeah, yeah. I can, and I can do. I can absolutely get on like um couple times a week and run raid with people and feel like I've done everything that I felt like I currently wanted
Mhm.
to do, and even that I kind of like it's more about hanging out with friends at this point. It
It is.
like it,
It is. That's the whole point of the raid for me now too. It's like I'm not getting any more gear out of the raid. Maybe we might. You know, looks like Lee's looking into doing some mythic stuff. You know,
yeah, we've been
maybe
talking
get
about it.
maybe getting us with some other people to make a mythic group. I don't know how that's what he's got lined up or trying to get lined up, but that's interesting for me. Um, just something a little different, a little harder that we haven't really dove into much together anyway. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I'm
yeah, I
I'm
get what you're
not.
saying. I just renewed my 6 month sub back in April, so
Yeah,
I'm still tied to it for 3 more months. So I'm just but
I
yeah,
think mine
I'm not
ends like near the end of August.
okay. Yeah, I've still got I think mine's October. So
But I could happily play on just the gold I have right now for a long damn
oh
time.
yeah, yeah. You've made your millions, so you've got it. You probably still have you logged on enough to see like where your auctions are and stuff?
I have. I just haven't had like the enjoyment is so far gone that I haven't kept up with it. And then like the week that one of the weeks that I was trying to sell off a bunch of inventory was also a week that I had doctor's appointments and shit like that. So I've got a bunch of backlogged inventory that now I will probably take a loss on unless I wait long enough for it to come around again. And it's not the kind of inventory that you can move just a little bit. Like we're talking, hey, look, you've got like 200,000 of these things, you know. So uh, I'll probably wind up selling them eventually, anyways, and just take a loss on them. Um, uh, I still have plenty of gold, and even if I sold them all like today at current prices, I would still have, like 10, 11 million gold, something like that.
Yeah,
I would still have plenty of fucking gold for a long damn time.
yeah. Even I mean, WoW token's still pretty high right now. It's at
Hmm.
still 280K plus. That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, and a lot of people have been buying them. I'm not buying them. I'm sure people are buying them too, but a lot of people have been. Uh, I I'm sure they're buying them so that they can sell them for gold, but a lot of people have also been, making. They've made ridiculous gold, so they're still buying them up and using them for other shit.
yeah, I, I'm sure when the I think the Diablo 4 craze is going to start dying off here. I would think Now that season one's getting ready to come out, or has season one come out yet? I don't even play it.
Oh
So
yeah, season one's already out, and
okay,
and people are pissed about that too.
yeah, I know all about the nerves and stuff like that. Like people
Oh,
just
to the fucking
yeah.
ground,
See,
baby.
I'm not a Diablo player, so like it's
Yeah, it
I don't know, but I've heard all about it. I was like I watched
honestly,
Ashen Gold talk about it and stuff, so like it's pretty.
I, I think it's at the very least a pretty decent $30 game that they're
It's a
charging
decent
ninety
$30
dollars
game.
for.
That's what you said when it come out. It was a decent
Yeah,
$30 game. Like,
it's a decent $30 game. At, After the nerfs, maybe more like a $25 game.
that bad.
Well, so nothing. The gameplay part of the game is decent. The gameplay part of the game is decent. It's not groundbreaking. It's not amazingly fun, but it's decent. Like it's basic. I know you don't play a lot of action RPGs, but but it it's basically Diablo 3, maybe not as polished. And then like every other part of the game, okay, not every other part. The story's actually pretty decent too,
Hmm.
but every other part of the game, I have significant faults with. Like the cutscenes range between, oh man, that looks pretty good, to geez, that looks like they pulled fucking graphics from a 1995 CGI computer game.
Oh
So
wow.
so so there's that. Um, they added all this open world content. It's laggy as fuck. Uh, the I- Anytime you find a build that's actually remotely good, they nerf the shit out of it. Uh, they have inventory problems. Like there's so many. WoW does the same thing with all the fucking things you got to keep in your inventory. Now Diablo's got the same problem. Only Diablo, uh, you know, that's actually an interesting thing. Uh, it released with like four available stash tabs that you could pay ridiculous amounts of gold to get, right?
Yeah.
And they said, "All right, we understand. You're right. We're we're gonna put gems in your we're going to take them out of being an inventory slot, and we're going to turn them into a currency, and we're going to add you some more stash tabs in season 3." People were so pissed about season 1 that they added another stash tab, and I am almost positive that they did that just as a way to say, I bet they didn't want to do it. I bet they did it specifically because um, they just needed a win, right? But then by adding one stash tab, and keep in mind, like one stash tab is nowhere near enough. Like the four that they had, like that's not enough for one character, and it's shared between every character you have. So you have people creating other characters to move shit out of their stash onto those characters to hold the shit so that hopefully they can still have it later on. And then they've got like, I'm sure you've got some motherfucker out there with a goddamn notebook writing down what character's holding what and what the stats are and all. Yeah, so you already have all this inventory problem. So they add this one stash tab, and everybody's like, okay, well, one, you said you were going to add this in season 3. What changed? Two, why are you only adding one? You've acknowledged that this is a very significant issue. Is it really that fucking hard to code in a new goddamn stash tab? And the answer they got back was that anytime you're in an area with another character, it loads their entire inventory and all of their inventory back in their stash tabs as well,
Wow.
and pre-renders it all in your RAM.
See,
So this would cause the game to lag too much.
and this is one of those things. Like it's just WoW has the same issue server side. That's why WoW lags so much because they generate all the numbers through the server.
Yeah.
So why they can't implement that to run through the client or through the game, I have no idea. Like
Well, it would probably break the game too. Honestly,
would it?
it, for people that have shitty computers, absolutely, which is the
Okay,
bulk of the
maybe,
population.
maybe, but
So the problem is, with WoW that they have intentionally layered so much extra bullshit and obfuscation and calculation on it that is completely fucking unnecessary. That they had to add this in. That they had to add all this extra processing in on the server side to do all this stuff, and it's caused all this lag. None of that was really necessary, at least at the level that they've done it to. It
Oh,
has actively made the game worse.
so
And
yeah.
that's kind of what it is with this stash tab situation too. And that's not the only reason
No,
that Diablo
it's
4 is what it is. I mean, it like I think that I think that someone some fucking weekend warrior dad that gets on for like a couple hours during the weekend and plays the game and is going to do that for the next 6 months. I think they're probably going to have a good time.
hmm
um, I think anybody else, people that are actually looking up builds and trying to itemize for different things, and especially people that play hardcore, but in just in general, anybody that takes the game remotely seriously and wants to play it and enjoy it, they're gonna have a bad time.
I couldn't imagine trying it on hardcore with having and lagging out or shit like that. But
Oh yeah,
I've heard of people losing their characters because of lag spikes and
oh, you've got
server
people that are like,
crashes and stuff like that. Like that have
oh yeah,
literally lost their hardcore characters because of that. Like I just yeah no.
you literally have people that were like third,
I,
fourth, fifth in the world, that kind of thing, like in their little race to world first bullshit. That'd be like level 97,
I
and
would I
and
would
she
have to
would,
buy a new computer monitor and keyboard
yeah,
and
exactly,
mouse.
because that absolutely happens. Like all of a sudden you get disconnected. It takes you another 15 minutes to fucking get back in there, and it's like, of course you're dead.
Yeah.
Of course you're dead. You were fighting a bunch of shit, and then it takes 15 minutes for it to log you out. Of course you're dead. There's no way.
Mhm.
So it's like Blizzard hasn't designed this for that kind of experience. But
It's,
still it's a thing that people want to do because they added it in as something that you could do because it's always been kind of a thing. And like it has some of the same shit that WoW has where like the ranges on different attacks don't correspond with what's on the screen. You'll get hit by invisible attacks. You'll get shit like something will run an attack, but it doesn't actually show an animation till like 30 seconds later or 5 seconds later or whatever the fuck. So it's like you're dead and you don't even know it, and there's nothing you could have done about it.
yeah.
Uh, itemization is just garbage. Like it doesn't feel good at all. Like in general, you kind of know that, like, okay, well, my primary stat is this, and increasing this is good. And if I increase my damage, it is probably good. And if I increase my crit, it's probably good. But all of it kind of doesn't work the way it says it's going to work on paper. And then the vast majority of the stats are shit like, increases damage, assuming that you are close to enemies. But then it has snapshotted attacks and stuff. So like it if you cast an attack that like takes you into melee range, it doesn't actually take into account that kind of variable. So it's like you're not getting your bonus anyway. And a lot of it's that kind of stuff. It's like vulnerable damage, and then there's damage close, damage far, damage cold, damage fire, damage electricity, uh, damage doing the tap dance on your mother's grave. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
it damage if it's CC'd, but not just CC'd. There are different kinds of damage CC. There's damage CC, and then there's damage stunned, frozen, slowed. Um, I mean, it's like there's no reason for all that. There isn't. It at most you could have done, look, attack power of some kind, which, believe it or not, there's an attack power stat in the game that does not actually correspond to the damage that you're doing.
Wow.
It's literally a collection of all the damage stats, whether they are taken into account by you or not. And the correlation is just literally not there. The increase in it just doesn't matter. But it's like they they literally could have done it so much easier. It's like attack power damage, armor penetration, critical strike, you know, critical damage. They could have left it at fucking that. Maybe added in like a couple elemental things like extra fire damage or something like that. No, they had to do all this other complicated shit that isn't even fun to look at or think about. Like it's not remotely. It's not satisfying to look at, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I, I,
I,
I don't know. I don't know what Blizzard's doing with their designs anymore. I really don't.
it sounds like just from the conversation that we've had that Blizzard has just shit the bed with their three largest IPs.
Basically,
All in the same time period. Like all three like back to back to back.
perfect timing given that Microsoft's about to buy them.
Yeah, yeah, and and that got the deadline for that to go through got extended. They're still working, I think, with the what is it? Still the British? I think they're still fighting with England or something to try and get the deal approved there. Other than that, I think they've pretty much got a green light everywhere else
Something like that,
for the
yeah.
acquisition. Um, so I think that's the thing, and I think that's a lot of the reason why you're seeing Overwatch on Steam now is because one of their agreements were that they were going to start releasing their games on other platforms, that they weren't going to have that monopoly type deal where they were going to take. Like I think one of the biggest threats I saw on the news was like that was that they were what was it? No, Sony was saying that they were going to take Call of Duty off of PlayStation, and
Yeah,
I think they agreed to not take it off of PlayStation for 10 years or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. I
the big deal in Europe was the cloud gaming space.
yep.
So they agreed to start allowing their games to go through like GeForce Now and other cloud services and stuff like that, besides Microsoft Cloud. So like you'll be able to play Blizzard games and Activision games through GeForce Now again, is my understanding. Um,
Yeah, that sounds
and
about right.
that's part of the whole Steam thing too. Is I think you're going to see those other options there. I don't think you'll see WoW on Steam. I don't think you will see that. Um, Everybody's got the hope that WoW could be going to Game Pass, which would be nice.
You know, the
We'll,
GeForce Now thing always pissed me off
let me
too.
see. What's got you pissed off about that one? Enlighten me here.
S-
This
s-
is new.
I, I don't know if you remember the whole GeForce Now thing, but when they were doing that as a cloud gaming type deal,
Yeah,
um,
I signed up for it when it was announced. Like I signed up
yeah,
for it in beta and
so
shit because I had a
so
shitty
GeForce,
computer at the time too. So
so Nvidia, which I give Nvidia a lot of shit, especially lately, but
hmm
Nvidia, uh, one of the things they were kind of doing right was the GeForce thing,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
idea was like,
it's one of the best things that they've actually done for gamers in
yeah,
a long time. Yeah,
and the idea was, you know, you could buy a game and then you play it through the cloud on our service, and you're not buying it from us, you're buying it from the manufacturer or from whatever
right.
platform
Yeah,
or
you
whatever it
own this
is.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you own this
bought this
game.
game
It
first.
wasn't through us, it was through them,
Hmm.
and we just happened to stream it for you. You actually have to have a license from them for it.
Yep.
What you're paying us for is so that you don't necessarily have to have a powerful computer. You can stream it through the cloud,
Yeah,
and we'll
you're
get it done.
paying to play the game on their computer is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
basically.
Yes.
And and like 95% of game devs, probably not actually 95%, but a just an enormous amount of them, both AAA and fucking indie developers and what have you, flip the fuck out and immediately took legal action to have their shit taken off the ability to be played by GeForce Now.
which was
It's like,
absolutely
so,
stupid. Like,
yeah, so they're basically saying that not only do you have to buy through us, but you can't play it through them. So I would like to see more people do things like that. Like I think cloud gaming, it has a future. I don't know if it's now. It's going to depend on a
it's
whole lot
getting
of
there.
things. Like, yeah, internet speeds are getting better. Like I know people that don't understand that internet speeds aren't great in all places. There are a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
places where they're horrible and they're data caps and all sorts of shit.
I'm
But
there.
but long term, it's going to be a good thing.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and it really bothered me that they went that route of, well, fuck you. Not only do we want our piece of the pie, we don't want you getting a piece of the pie after we've already got our piece of the pie.
See that, and that was the deal here. Is like
Mm,
what they're completely missing out on things like that is people who don't have great computers. There are people who do not have good computers. I used to be one of them. I saved my money up and bought, built me a new rig not too long ago.
yeah,
Um, but I'm not made of money. A lot of people aren't made of money. A lot of people have, just shitty ass Chromebooks because that's all they can afford, or just they're using a laptop that's 20 years old now, and stuff. With GeForce Now, they could literally say, "Okay, I can buy this brand new AAA game and play it
yeah,
through GeForce Now. I can play it for free and in 1 hour sessions through GeForce Now, or I can pay $5 a month and play as much as I want."
yeah.
Okay, where is the negativity in that for any game developer?
There isn't one.
Exactly.
I I mean, I could kind of see it. Like, if I I could almost see it if the idea is that, well, by having it done in the cloud like that, people may get a poor experience, and that may reflect poorly on our games. But like when you're talking about it, it's like they GeForce Now was probably the best streaming service experience at the time.
Yeah.
So it was literally the exact opposite of that.
Yep.
I think at the end of the day, what it was is what it's always been. It's the same reason that so many companies are now failing miserably and crawling back to fucking Steam, where they they got on Steam initially because that boosted sales, and then later on they stopped being on Steam because they wanted to release their own launchers and shit so that they
Yep.
could get their piece of the pie without Steam, and then it turned out that they couldn't do it worth a fuck. So they turned back around and got back on Steam, right?
Yep.
I think that's what it is with the GeForce Now thing. I think that developers went, well, this deal doesn't benefit us financially, and not only does it not benefit us financially, but if they do it like this, then no, then we won't necessarily have the same incentive. Like someone else may pay us for the licensure fees, or we may want to actually start our own streaming service in the future, and if it's already here and it works really well, that takes out of our market share somehow. I i think it's something like that, where somebody that that understands marketing but doesn't understand the market and doesn't understand video games and players and their customers and what have you got together and went, I don't know about that. Someone else could be making money that we're not making, or
Right.
some stupid shit, or down the line we may want to be able to do that ourselves. It's like, oh, okay, so fucking do it yourself. Nothing's stopping you. If you can do it better than them, fucking do it better than them. But I bet you can't.
No.
You know?
And that's
Mm,
definitely the thing. It's just I don't know. It just
mm.
that makes sense to me as a developer. Why you're not losing anything by people being able to play through GeForce Now and other cloud services like that. You're not losing nothing.
I mean, same
Like
thing happened. Uh, that's another thing that was in the news. Is
if anything, you're gaining.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, and go on. You talking about the Ubisoft stuff? Yeah.
oh
Go with
yeah.
that.
Ubisoft just came up in the news this week, um, because they're closing people's accounts that haven't been active in like 3 or 4 years or something like that. Literally getting rid of the games and everything that they purchased. But
Yeah.
that's kind of how Ubisoft got their start, where they had their own service like that, and where they had Uplay and all that. It's like that the reason that they really got into Uplay is because they wanted to give gamers an incentive to to use that and find out that maybe
But
they could get Ubisoft games outside of the platform that they're on, and maybe they'd get like a break as far as price or something like that. So it was a way of Ubisoft going, okay, we, we really want to get as much business that is not through another party or whatever it is. And the thing is, it never got good. Uplay was always horrible.
horrible.
Anytime you try and open Uplay on any Ubisoft game, it feels like you're connecting through dial-up internet, and you've
It
got like satellites cranking out.
that's an understatement.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
feels like NASA's on the phone going, I don't know what happened, Bob, but the satellite's fucked. You
For
know?
for for the young people that watch this, yes, there was a time when you had to actually sit there and listen for the internet to actually connect
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah, they
So
don't understand.
and it's horrible. So it's like, you try and use Uplay because they literally got to the point where they would cut things out of the game or add stupid things into the game that you had to get through going through Uplay. It's a feature that people use just because it's there. I I don't know if it ever brought any business, but clearly they didn't invest enough money or talent into it because it works like dog shit. And and the entire purpose was that they wanted people to use their platform, and now their platform is so bad that they're literally getting rid of people's games and closing it down. And this isn't a new thing, right?
Right.
It isn't, because um there are all sorts of different platforms that like reserve the right to get rid of this, that, or the other, or to close your account or something like that.
Yeah,
And
even
especially
yeah,
like
they all have
console
those.
stores have done that
They
over
all
the
have
years.
those terms of agreements. Like Steam has one too. That's what I was saying. This is like the
Oh yeah,
ultimate fear of people who use Steam and stuff like that. Like it is like, oh
yeah,
God, they're going. They could close my account and I'll lose my entire library and shit like that. And
yeah,
that's something that could actually happen. The chances of it happening are extremely slim, but it's something that could actually happen. Like if
yeah, but
if Steam wants to do that, you know, there would probably be a riot in the streets like we saw a few years ago. The
oh,
Black
probably.
Lives Matter, but it's but
But I
yeah,
feel like I mean it's the same kind of thing that's happened with like streaming services. Like people got fed up with cable, and then like two or three streaming services popped up, and then everybody and their mother got on that, and then everybody and their mother, as far as like the companies go, wanted to remove their shit from those streaming services so that they could have their own streaming services that nobody wanted to actually use there either. So now instead of having two or three good ones, you've got like two or three good ones that aren't quite as good anymore because they've had a bunch of content removed. Now they've got a whole bunch of extra streaming services that are integrated in that you've got to pay extra for, and then you've got like 2 dozen other streaming, probably two 300, 3,000, something like that, other fucking streaming services out there,
Yes.
and you've got people that want you to buy stuff. You've got people that just want you to pay a subscription. And it's like, okay, well, there's only one fucking show that I want. It's like the entire point was that people didn't want to pay the bullshit for cable
Hmm.
because cable was a fucking scam,
Yeah.
right? And
Now the
satellite was a
streaming services.
like, great, pay $400 and you can watch TV, and we'll give you 47,000 channels for your mom to watch HGTV.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
just and only when it's not raining.
exactly. So it's the same thing that's happened with these game launchers. It is everybody and their mother has been like, well, no, we want them to use our storefront because we feel like we could get a bigger cut of the pie, but they don't want to actually invest in making a good experience. And even if they did, it's like, who the fuck wants to log into 47 different goddamn things
Yeah.
just so that they can do whatever it is they're going to do?
Just, just,
Nobody.
just for the record, I pay $160 a month in subscriptions.
Oh, goddamn.
just,
Goddamn.
just pointing at it. Half of that's YouTube TV, but it that tells you just how
I mean,
much.
I believe it.
Yeah, it
I
just
think I pay like I think I pay like 25, 40, something like that. I've got like
it's ridiculous. Well, Netflix is 20 by itself, and then I've got
yeah.
Peacock and HBO Max, and
I
there's a
remember
couple
when
others
Netflix
thrown
was
in there
single
too.
digits.
Yeah, yeah. You can still get it single digit. It looks like ass, and only one person at a time can watch it.
Yeah,
So
they cut it down to where like it's not worth it's like, oh, look, now you can pay for the free YouTube experience on your phone like at dial-up speeds at 240p.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
great.
no,
Thanks. I appreciate that.
no.
Uh,
It's a whole fuck off. Yeah, $20 a month for 4K and up to 6 streams. So it's like that's what
yeah,
I pay
up to
for right
six
now.
screens, and now they want to. Before they're like, hey, you can share your password. Please do. It's the way you love your family,
I
and like
think
you
they
can take your
backed
time.
off on that because my parents are still able to use it just fine. So
I I hope so,
I think
but
they've backed off on it. But we'll
it
see.
wouldn't surprise me. Like, I mean, my brother lives right up the road from us, and we have a bunch of financial problems. But one of the things I take care of is the streaming services. My brother takes I let him use mine. It's one less thing that he has to deal with because uh, he's got his daughter now, and he's working around the clock, so it just helps him out a little bit.
Yeah,
And
that's why I do the YouTube TV because my mom, me, and my grandma can all have our own accounts under the
yeah,
same subscription, like and live in different places and stuff. So like I'm in Raleigh now. Uh, my grandma's at home, and then my mom and them they've got their own home there too, and everybody can watch TV under the same $80 a month subscription. Like it's I've got three people watching TV for $80 a month, live TV. So like
yeah,
that's not a bad deal, and it's the only streaming service I've found that lets you do that. So kudos to YouTube TV for that one because they're the only ones that let you do it.
yeah.
But all right, it was a good conversation. We're going to have to wrap it up here. I do have to go here in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So, oh wow, Misek, it's been a while. We're going to have
It
to
has been. We're gonna have
we're
to do
going
this a
to
little more often, huh?
yes do this more often. This is fun. Hopefully, I'll get it back into a better spot. Quite a few drop frames with the stream. So check it out on YouTube for a nice, clear, yeah, YouTube.
Assuming you didn't break it again.
Go to YouTube. No, no, I've got it. We're good.
Okay.
We're good here. I do believe. So yeah, but yeah, quite a bit drop frames. Internet's crappy. I'm working on that as well. We're planning on going by Spectrum today, maybe, and see about getting better service here. So I mean, it'd be better service. It won't be great service. It'll be better than this. Uh, but all right. Yep. No economic dive today, just because you haven't been playing much, and we really don't have time to dive into it anyway. We've went on an hour and a half almost. Holy crap! Hour and a half right now, actually. So good video. Good stream. Enjoyed the conversation. We just went into everything gaming today, didn't we? Like holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went a little bit further than WoW.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, fuck WoW at the moment. So
Yeah.
fuck Blizzard
You
at
know me, I'm an
all.
angry I'm an angry
Angry,
motherfucker. I gotta be angry about something.
angry old man yelling at clouds. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. But all right, everybody. Yeah, check it out on YouTube for a much better video. Absolutely. All right, Mr. Misek. We will talk at you later, bud.
Yep. I'll catch you later, man.
Bye, guys.